Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Sunday. It's September 27th, 2020. And you guys, I had a little something to eat today before the show, so hopefully my mind will be all here. I listened to the show back last week and oh my goodness, did I make a big mistake. But anyway, Lucky wanted to say good morning. Say hi to everybody. The sun's in his eyes. That's why he's squinting. Okay, so here we go. All right, good morning, Juan. Good morning, Cece Pops. Good morning, Enchanted Wolf. Okay. All right. Can you all hear me? I think you can. I'm assuming you can. Hi, Nikki. Oh, good. Okay, terrific. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start today with, I was really off the last couple of weeks, guys. I have to tell you, I think part of it was I was doing this detox and I felt like I felt good. But now that I'm on the other side of that kind of weird slump, I know I feel a lot better. So I want to thank you all for bearing with me. I was rather subdued last week. So we have this week a full moon in Aries on October 1st. And if any of you guys watched Lada's videos for October, you know it's going to be a really, really interesting and challenging month. And this full moon is sort of ushering in that energy. It is in conversation and influenced by the square between Mars and Saturn. So all I could think about when I was getting ready this morning is Rage Against the Machine. And I think that people are going to start to really, I think the presidential election, and I don't want to get into a political conversation in any way. It's just something that really influences everybody's way of being and their passions and their beliefs. So we really are going to see people just being very impulsive, very rebellious, very quick to react. And you may find yourself being one of those people. So I kind of want to say that, you know, the best we can do to stay in our awareness to, I almost feel like this is a futile conversation I'm having because I don't know when things happen and trigger some of our history, we tend to react. So I really think that this is going to be a reactionary full moon. It's going to be influencing all the way to the middle of October. I believe the new moon is on the 16th, and I know that because the next day is my birthday, and that year of 60 went really fast. So I'm going to go quickly, speeding like lightning into 61. So we're going to start our readings this morning, and I'm going to, if you guys have any questions, I'm going to try to address between the readings. I'm trying to find a happy medium between who watches the video in playback and you guys being live. I really enjoy the interaction and I don't want to give that up. So I'm going to, if you have any questions, get me in between readings. So let's start with our Pisces and work our way backwards. Okay, our first angel for our Pisces is Oceana. The second is Bridget. The third is Merlina. And the final is Vanessa. I was thinking about this too. This full moon, I was even thinking your pets could be acting up. You know, if you have a bird, it could be talking more or be more cranky. If you have a dog, it may be the same way. Your cats may be more aloof. I feel like there's no living being that is getting out of these transits in 2020. And I do believe that animals have their own spiritual journey and their own transformations. So be mindful of that too. Thank you, Cece Pups. Okay, here we go. Joining Oceana is the Novice. Joining Bridget is the Partnership card. Joining Merlina is the Love card. And joining Vanessa is the Truth card. Okay. So Oceanus is to take action. You're in touch with your truth, to lovingly move towards your and assert yourself towards your goals, towards the things you want in life. And the novice is skill without practice. It is the beginning of something. It's almost as if it's like a student starting a new course, or starting, like I'm thinking of a graduate student who has learned all this, gotten all this education, and then going out into the world and starting to utilize it. And when I look at this Pisces, I really want to go to the idea of Neptune. I want to go to the ocean, and that you're a novice in many ways in trusting your spiritual journey, in trusting that if you put your intention into something, that the spirit will start to create dynamics and situations for you to walk through bravely in order to anchor in the experience, to start to give you the faith. Because I think this is about when I pulled the partnership card and Bridget, I really felt like this was looking deeper into my partnership with spirit. And, in theory, I want to put it this way. There are times when I've been in fear recently, physical, not feeling just right. And I mentioned that earlier when I started. And I've been implementing things to make myself feel better. And in the in-between period, when I was unsure as to whether I should be going to a doctor and looking outside of myself or trusting inside of myself, it was the connection to spirit that helped me anchor into, let me trust my gut first. And I say that because here's the partnership with spirit, looking deeper. It's both my obstacle and my opportunity this week. It's my opportunity to experience something that anchors me into a deeper connection and faith in my connection with spirit, because in the angel's advice is the love card and Merlina. And Merlina is saying that you don't have enough information. And I think that's in knowing that God loves you and that the angels love you, and that really the truth of our trials and tribulations in many ways is just to bring us to deeper levels of love and of knowing that we transcend this human experience. So here in the final position for Pisces, and I just got chills everywhere, is the truth card. And Vanessa's saying, do you want to base your decisions on faith or fear? Do you want to move faithfully towards what it is you want to experience? Yeah, you're new at it. You're new at the faith of it. 2020 threw all the cards up in the air and they just fell down on the ground. And the way you pick the cards back up in your life gives you an opportunity to shuffle the deck in a new way. So I feel like, okay, so full moons are the endings of some things, which is really the beginning of something. So what if the ending is that you no longer want to follow the machine? And when I say the machine, I think that's the loop of the human structure. Wherever you are in the world, there's a certain rhythm to how your community, how your culture, how your dynamic works. And I feel like this is really Bridget saying, you know what? Look deeper into if it's working for you or if it isn't. Because you know what? If it isn't, what a great time to start to implement new ideas and new situations, and then telling spirit to give you experiences to anchor that faith. Because when you have an experience, words don't really teach. Experience teaches. Because experience gives you that, I did it once before, I could do it again. Words are very conceptual. So I want to offer it this way. Stepping into your truth this week will put spirit, it's almost like stepping into your truth and saying, I'm willing to have faith. I'm totally willing to have faith. But spirit, I need you to give me an experience to anchor that. So chop, chop, let's move, let's go. And in doing so, you're going to just start to feel, I think you're going to be able to walk through the rest of 2020 in a place that gives the transformation that we don't have to go into where everybody else is going. Yes, it may be cuckoo crazy, but we can stand in a vibration that understands that the disruption is leading to nirvana. Okay, let's go on to our Aquariuses. Okay, now I can say hi to other people because we're in between. I want to say hi, Cosmo Kid. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Lisa. Thank you, guys. I kind of mentioned it a little early. I'm really not that big of a birthday person, but frankly, I'm freaking out that I'm getting so old so fast. I feel like I was just talking to you about turning 60 a minute ago. And I'm not, I don't mind the aging process. I just It's just so aging. Thank you, Brooke. Hey, T-Bo, good morning. Hi, Small Wildflowers, did I say good morning to you? Okay. Isn't it a trip, Lisa? It's so bizarre. It's such a weird, because we're, I have to say my generation really quite thought they were very cool. Oops. What is shuffling in here? Look what was sitting in the middle. I was shuffling this card, the love card, into the angel deck. You guys, this week, our full moon, we need to stand in love for everybody else. Good morning, Brandon. Welcome. Good morning, Stephen. Okay. I'm talking now so that when Juan does the timestamp, so all the people watching the playback don't have to be annoyed by me. Good morning, Jacqueline. Oh, you know what? Today's a special day for me as well. My grandfather made his transition today, and it was about 23 years ago. It's in 1997, and I miss him so much. So I always think about him today. He was 92, but he was just like, oh, he was my guy. Anyway, all right, here we go on to our Aquariuses. Our first angel for our Aquarius is Fiona. The second is, Daniel. The third is Indriel, and the final is Ray. They all kind of came out together. All right, here we go. Jacqueline, I go backwards. Capricorn is going to be next. So wait, don't go anywhere. I go backwards. I start at Pisces and I work my way towards Aries. Okay. Fiona is being joined by the Lady of the Lake. Daniel is being joined by the Horse. Indriel is being joined by the King. And Ray is going with the Partnership card. Okay. Fiona says, and I love Fiona and Serena are two, I can't say this anymore. I love all the angels, but Fiona is joyously opening her arms in reception to God and the angels, and it's going to take courage right now. It's going to take courage because the world, again, here we have so many tense aspects, and Mars and Saturn are right on the docket. They're like up at the top. They're having a very tense conversation. Saturn is in some ways wanting to hold things back, to stick to the old ways. And Mars is like, no way, man. I want to break through, do something new and independent and innovative. And this is a time when Aquarius, who rules innovation, is going to have to be brave in allowing God and the angels to open a spot for you, to be able to actually implement what you want. This is a timing issue for you guys. And I think it's interesting because we know that Uranus rules modern day Aquarius, but Saturn rules in ancient times ruled Aquarius. So I feel like when you start to think about Saturn and take away the restriction and start to think about the diligence, I'm being required to work hard and stay focused at my goals. And so I think that is where the goal comes in, that what you want is in a timing issue in the world, the universe, the changing times are actually laying the seeds for that moment. I don't think that moment is now because, and I'm going to say this because there's two things. There is Daniel represents marriage, but it also represents partnership. And the Horse represents delegating to authority or accepting help from another. And when I look at this, there's a part of me that thinks that Aquarius is looking for partnership within their intimate bodies, because in the angel's advice, I have Indriel and the King, but I could also take this a different way. So I'm going to kind of go two different ways for those of you that are already in relationship. But first, Aquarius, those of you that want a relationship, it's time to look in a new direction and delegate to authority, meaning God and the angels, what it is you want in a partnership. And I want to say this, not describing the physical appearance, but rather the character traits and the things that make you feel joyous and happy, because there's the king. And this is for either male or female. It represents the partnership, but also karma and justice. And that you are in some ways contracted to have an elevated partnership, because that we're rewriting partnerships with each other as well. We're rewriting our way of doing our work, the way we are loving each other intimately, the way we are giving ourselves permission to express our uniqueness. And I feel like when I look at this, it really is about partnership. And Ray is saying that God and the angels are the ones that are going to bring this energy into your experience. And it could be this is where I kind of want to broaden it a little bit, because while Daniel is in the opportunity, the obstacle, and represents traditional marriage, I can't help but think about things like neighborhoods and bringing in partnerships and cooperation within our neighborhoods. We've had some conflict here in people's intentions in our neighborhood. And as some of the community came together, we were able to find common ground. So I feel like this is about really going to God and the angels. It's about Aquarius speaking and being their deepest truth, that there is a partnership, but also delegating to spirit to help create that partnership. And I want to say this too. It could also be that when you look into the history of your partnerships, it's time to go in a new direction. So if you're always the person who likes somebody who's difficult or hard to wrangle, or somebody who, is always saying, yeah, I'll call you back, and they never call you back, try going out with somebody who calls you back. Because we're all here to start to rewrite this thing, meaning this life experience. And like rings on a tree, we start with our individual experiences, which affect our communal experiences, which affect the whole world. So there we go. Okay. Anything else? Not that I can think of. Okay. Anders, I want to offer this. If you're interested in getting in a relationship and you're doing this, then on some level, you're still in your history. Like, what has been going on? Go into the future. It's kind of like, I'm not really one that's big on, I'm not going to make a space in my closet for my future husband and leave it empty. No, I need the space. But I do think that there is a certain amount of faith that you have in spirit to bring just the right party and just the right person and just the right partner that really gets you. Because I think it's important to have, we're at a place where material things are not going to be at the top of the list. It's going to be how you treat me, how you make me feel, how you inspire me, and how I get to inspire you. So, all right, let's go on to our Capricorns. So I hope whoever was, I forgot who was waiting for Capricorn. I hope they hung out. Saturn is squaring Venus too. Oy, oy, oy. I didn't know that. Well, that's always fun. Not. Brandon, if you've been having nightmares lately, you should ask God and the angels to bring you serenity during your peace and give you the bravery to see whatever it is that you may be suppressing, that is an inner knowing that's calling you. Most of my dreams are very, very metaphoric when I have them. They're not like normal dreams, like, oh, I went to the market. So, all right, let's go into our Capricorns. I'm going to give it a good shuffle, because being ruled by Saturn, I was thinking too this morning that if indeed I pay attention to the degrees, the people who are within the retrograde of Mars, which I believe is in the latter degrees of Aries, I think those even hit you a little bit harder than, say, somebody who's like a March-born Aries, because the retrograde isn't going to go that far. So the square feels a little bit tighter. So it's really, and this is the thing I want to offer you guys, because especially as Capricorns, we're still, Saturn and Mars is going to go forward again, and then it's going to hit all these points again. So allowing yourself the privilege of sort of catching the clue now will make the forward motion so much easier and can bring in the resolution of whatever the square's tension was bringing forth. Okay. All right. Capricorn. Our first angel is Ariel. The second is Yvonne. The third is Vanessa. And the final is Francesca. Good morning, Brianna. You know, as I'm shuffling, I'm thinking to myself, Capricorn are goats, and I love my goats. And what's a goat? It's the greatest of all time. I just think that's kind of funny because it's really very Saturn-y right now, and this energy is like Saturn's like, I'm the big daddy, and Mars is like, yeah, but I'm the young buck. I'm up and coming, man. Okay, here's Ariel being joined by the dragon. Yvonne is being joined by the swan. Vanessa's being joined by the wind fairy, and Francesca's being joined by the cow. So this is what I want to say. I honestly love Capricorn. It's almost every boyfriend I've ever had has been a Capricorn or a Taurus. And I've been talking about Capricorn having more spiritual experiences, getting more emotionally intuitive and connected versus being logical and stoic. And here we have Ariel saying that new psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way you view yourself and the world at large. And here is the dragon. And the dragon is about power and strength. And this is where I believe that Capricorn is making its transformation the biggest, is through this spiritual connection that is becoming more tangible as the true authority versus the man-made structure of authority. Because here in the opportunity, the obstacle for Capricorn, we have Yvonne. Yvonne is always about vulnerability for me, guys. I never had human children. I've always had four-legged babies. And whenever I'm truly stressed and kind of scared, I dream about my animals being just out of reach. They're never taken from me. They're never killed. They're just always lost. And I'm always seeking in sort of a panicky way. So I say that because when I let the panic go away and I trust spirit to lead me, there's where the true transformation comes. Because in the angel's advice, this is an opportunity for Capricorn to really find their spiritualness through faith over their mind seeing logic. The truth is in the universe, the formula is this: if you believe it, you will see it. Most humans think the opposite, and Capricorn and earth signs especially will tend to say, let me see it and then I'll believe it. It's not that way. Because Francesca says, what do you visualize right now? Negativity will block your progress. Oh, I'm sorry. Visualize what you want. Negativity will block your progress. And then there's the cow about abundance, asking and receiving. So to me, I could put this in some sort of material human structure, but it feels very much like it's an interior job. And here in this full moon, it could totally be where Capricorn is having this inner turmoil between wherever Mars is in their chart. It doesn't matter, because that's where you want to go, where you want to assert yourself. And Saturn's always going to pull you back and ask you twice if you're doing it the way you've been taught to do it. And now Saturn gets to evolve. Saturn gets to say, wait a minute here. You know what? I'm really much more of a spiritual energy, because when you work hard, when you're diligent on the things that you love, I can make that happen. I can bring it into the material world for you. So that's what I think is going on here. So if you find yourself, especially around the full moon, feeling slightly aggro, that's an old term. I used to love it. I loved that. I don't know if you guys remember the word aggro. I'm so aggro today. There's gonna be a lot of that going on. You know, treat yourself nice. Be nice to yourself. A little bit of pampering. And I mean, you know, and when I say pampering, I also want to say this. For me, I have to watch what I put in my body, because sometimes that adds to my irritation. And I haven't been drinking, as y'all know, but even like coffee can jack you up a little bit, get you, like this. So just be mindful, because I really feel like Capricorn has a real opportunity through vulnerability to step back, to take their hands off the reins, and to not over control things. Or I shouldn't say control, it's not the way I want to put it, but overly remind themselves and others about the rules. But the rules are this. All right, let's go on to our Sagittariuses. Okay, since we're in the middle, I'm going to chat. Enchanted Wolf, I love that you wrote that you had a dream about underdeveloped kittens, because the first thing I saw was it's an underdeveloped sense of independence and healthy boundaries. Because what do? Cats don't hang around anyone that doesn't give them love, unless they're trapped in a house and no one lets them out. But, cats will really choose people that like them. So I think that's something to pay attention to. And look at where were the kittens underdeveloped? What struck out in your dream? Very interesting. Thibaut, I'm so excited to see your celery juicing. I have upped mine quite a bit, and it's made such a dramatic difference. I'm completely convinced that that's truly is the miracle elixir. Thank you, Dolly. Thank you so much. I've been having fun with my manicurist. We've been trying to do some different things. And so I feel like these look like a pair of shoes. I don't know if you guys can see, but I have maroon on the tip, a little, so it's kind of funny. All right. Is Lucky back there somewhere? Okay. All right, here we go. Thank you, Flamingo. All right, on to our Sagittariuses. Caressa is our first angel in the foundational position. Grace and Antoinette is in the opportunity or the obstacle. Crystal is in the angel's advice. And in the final position is Layla. We have 111 people. Oh, the minute I said it, it changed in the room. Shelly, remind me when I finish with the Sagittarius, and then we'll talk about it, okay? All right, here we go. All right, so joining Caressa is the hawk. Joining Grace and Antoinette is the trust card. And pardon me for interrupting myself, but this angel card inadvertently ended up in the Camelot deck. So I'm going to add this to our reading for Sagittarius. There's a reason for that. Crystal is being joined by the mystery card, and Layla is being joined by the owl. Okay. So this is what I want to say for Sagittarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Stelliums, you guys, if you have 4 or more planets in one place in your chart, one house, one sign, it's very, very powerful energy. I think Lada commented that it was like a holy mission of some kind, or a specific mission that your soul has chosen in this lifetime to address. So Sagittarius, Caressa says you're at the end of a life cycle, to call upon God and the angels to comfort and guide you, that new happiness awaits you. And there is the hawk. And I really think that this is about signs and omens, but it's about rising above the situation to see where you want this chapter to close. It may be a bit melancholy for this chapter to close. And again, I'm not necessarily talking about everything being a physical experience. It could be a chapter, we're going into a full moon, chapter inside of yourself that closes, that on some level you come to a resolution that says, well, I find benefit, I may not find enough benefit in this relationship or in this dynamic, because Grace and Antoinette is about compassion. It's about seeing things from another person's point of view. And there is the trust card. And I feel like there's the potential that whatever chapter is ending, 2020 and the big daddies, the big dogs having their conjunction going back and forth in Capricorn, which rules structure, has really asked everyone to look at the structures of their lives. And are they working for me? And this feels like Sagittarius is kind of saying it works, but it doesn't work great enough. It's like I'm still on a tricycle and I could be on a 2-speed. I could be on a 10-speed, meaning 2-wheeler, sorry, and a 10-speed and going much faster. Why am I sitting on this tricycle still? Because here in the angel's advice is, in some ways, they're asking you to make the choice to sit in the unknown and to trust, because that's what crystal represents. Faith and hope that there's something more on the horizon that you can't see. And there's the mystery card, which is where God gives us our free will. It's our journey to have. And in the final position, we have Layla. This is contemplation. This is connection with spirit. And then this is the owl. Owl represents one coin, two sides. So it's deception and wisdom. So this is where, when you look above the situation, it's not completely awful. It's not even the things in your mind. It's like, I'm going to use myself as an example with the wine. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink a lot of hard booze. I have a little bit of wine in the evening, but I just woke up one day and decided it just wasn't feeling good to me anymore. So I didn't say I would never do it again. I just said, I'm not going to do it for now. There's something going on with Sagittarius, and maybe it's the ending of some certain relationships, but I feel like it's much more about some sort of realization within yourself. Maybe it's about your beliefs in some way, because we pulled the patience card. Now is a time to gather information, to study, to observe. And to me, that is really so that you can have trust as the universe moves things around, so that your deepest truth comes out, but in a way that is of a higher mind. That's the way I want to put it. In a way that is ninth house related. It's going to take you into foreign experiences that prove to you that when you trust, things can all work out for the best. You can create a win-win. It doesn't have to be a win-lose. So I really want to offer Sagittarius, as we walk into this full moon, if there is a physical ending, which full moons can represent, and it would be in Aries, so it would be something to do with the self. I don't want to even go to the square between Mars and Saturn right now, but Aries represents the first house. It's going back and forth, and it may cut away something using its knife that hasn't served you. But it could work out to the best, because the other party may agree. Maybe like, I get it. We're good. No worries over here, mate. Okay. So that was Sagittarius. We're going to go on to our Scorpios and head back towards Aries. For those of you that are new watching, I go backwards. I tried that, I don't know now, almost feels like it was over a year ago. And I just kind of stuck with it, because everybody goes from Aries to Pisces, and Pisces always has to wait till the very end. And my Libra said, that's not fair. Let's do it the other way. All right, here we go. On to our Scorpios. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Carlin G, Scorpio stellium, you are so intuitive and really, truly powerful, transformational. So pay attention to that. Okay, here we go. Yes, I'm a Libra sun, an Aries rising, and a Taurus moon. So I would tell my clients, I'm going to ram you a little, I'm going to bully you a little, and I'm going to want you to like me all at the same time. I'm very, very straight up in my readings. I just give it like I get it. Okay, here we go. For our Scorpios, our first angel is Azure. Our second is Indriel. Our third is Grace and Antoinette. And in the final position is Teresa. So our first position is the foundation. It's where we start. It's the leaping off point, the energy that we're standing on. The second is the opportunity and or the obstacle. The third is the angel's advice. And the final is the potential outcome from the week. So Azure is being joined by the dragon. Indriel is being joined by the earth fairy. Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the novice. And Teresa's being joined by the protection card. All right, my Scorpios, I have to say this is very interesting to me because as I look at it, I feel like this is a week where it's really, I want to say this, I think this full moon for Scorpio is about really looking and seeing, am I taking good care of myself? And are the people around me taking good care of me too? Because it might be time to assess and think about people and places and dynamics that get to take an outer step a little bit, back up a little bit. And I say that because Azure says your desired outcome will happen in the very near future. Have faith and patience and don't try to force it. Force is a resistant energy. Worry is a form of resistant energy. And this is why we want to keep looking deeper into what our motives are, because I believe that your power and your strength actually comes from, in some respects, it's more about having that patience and faith that there's a certain thing that you want. And if you're a Scorpio, you're ruled by Pluto. You're also ruled by Mars in ancient times. And there's very much a truth seeker underneath you. There's somebody that wants to get down to the nitty gritty and wants to be seen for their nitty gritty and accepted and loved. And I feel like this is an opportunity for Scorpio to truly shine their light and build a new foundation. And that foundation, this whole year of 2020, it's tearing our structures down so that we can get past the fortress of our structures, meaning I'm talking about physical structures, our jobs, our routines, so that we can get into this interior place and really decide if these things make us happy. And I'm going to tell you a quick story because it's so relevant for Scorpio. I had a client here the other day, and she was really trying to do her best to please someone else in her life, because there was an expectation from that person. And that person believes that they are purporting the greatest thing for that person, the other person, but it's not true to them. And there's conflict unbeknownst to them, not between them, but they're at cross purposes. Because I say this because Scorpio, the angels are asking you to have compassion with yourself as you start a new beginning of truly trusting the inner knowing over what you see in the physical world and what others are telling you. Because in the final position, you're being protected from your own worry. And I say that in an interesting way because I don't know that you would worry in the same way I would call a Virgo worrying, or maybe even a Gemini, but more about that looking deeper for where the problem is or where you'll get tripped up. And the lower vibrations of Scorpio, the suspicious vibrations of Scorpio. So this gives you an opportunity to rise above that, to say, wait a minute. I'm going to use the intuitive side, not as a warning, but rather as a way to detour from a problem and get around it. Or I really feel like this is about transcending the physical into the spiritual, which then becomes something you live in the physical. Okay, so I'm a crazy person, right? I think I tell you guys that all the time. And I don't advertise. I have a lot of ideas for doing things, podcasts and different types of things. And I have not moved on any of them. And I kind of get nervous and I get stuck. Oh, I don't know how to do it. I want someone to show me. People give me information and I don't really do it. And I want to say it this way because it relates in some ways, because Aries is also ruled by Mars. There's a wanting to take action and there's a little bit of fear attached to the action. And I feel like that's really kind of what's going on with Scorpio right now. And so we start with the yes, Spirit, I'm ready for this outcome to happen. Now lead me into a place where I trust that I will not lose everything that I want, because I do love the people that I'm worried about, or love the people that drive me crazy. Sorry, Scorpio. All right, let's go on to Libra. Look at me, I'm kicking tush today. No pussyfooting around. Dawn, worry is your middle name. Oh, my goodness gracious. That's not good. That's not going to serve you. You have to turn that around. And thank God and the angels for giving you experiences to support your faith. Okay. Well, happy birthday, Scott, on October 5th. That's my mother's birthday. My mother was 19 on October 4th, and on October 5th, she was 20, and on October 17th, she had a baby, and it was me. All right, here we go. Yeah, we have Aries rising. That'll be last because we're learning patience, us Aries rising. Okay, here we go. Libra, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Give me a second. I'm just going to take a quick sip. Fresh orange juice. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Michelle. And Michelle, thank you for the tip. I meant to say thank you, but I'm trying not to be annoying to the people watching the playback, and I get it. So Juan, I trust you will make sure that you get as close to when I start the reading as possible with the timestamp. Okay, here we go. For Libra, our first angel is Vanessa. The second is Crystal. The third is Xana. And the final is Archangel Michael. Thank you, Juan. Wow, so many Libras. Happy birthday, Enchanted Wolf. We'll all have to hang out and celebrate on our Sundays. Okay. I'm on Libra. We'll be headed to Virgo in a minute. Here we go. Joining Vanessa is the Queen. Joining Crystal is the Serpent. Joining Xana is the Novice. And joining Archangel Michael is the Mystery card. Okay, so when I look at this, the Vanessa represents, we're always going to, faith over fear. Fear, what are you going to let yourself do? Are you going to let yourself walk around running scenarios? Because for Libra, this is about reception. This is about, do you believe you will receive? And I kind of wanted to put it in such a way that because Libra represents partnership, cooperation, harmony, sometimes Libra also represents passive aggressive energy because it doesn't want to do something, but it wants to appear cooperative. So I think that this is really about faith. And, Vanessa has a strong warrior energy to me. She doesn't have a sheepish energy whatsoever. So between Vanessa and the Queen, I think it's like Xena, warrior princess. And that faith is that I own being the Queen. I own that I receive things. I got this. I know who I am. I know what I represent. Because in the angel's advice, in the opportunity and or the obstacle is Crystal, saying have faith and hope there's more on the horizon that you can't see. And then there's the Serpent. And this to me feels like knowledge. I would normally say it's shedding a skin, but it feels like knowledge, validating you for your faith that you will receive, that you've done the work. I've talked to you guys a little bit about how this year has sort of made me really address some physical things that are not going on. I can't say they're going on, but there are things I've noticed and I didn't like the way they felt. And at first I thought they were aging. And then I realized it wasn't necessarily about aging. It was how I was treating my body. And I started to change how I was treating my body. So what I had to do was have faith that if I did the work, I would also receive what I needed in order to move my story forward, because I have a lot of plans. So what has it done? It's given me knowledge, and the knowledge has given me greater faith. And that faith has let me know that I'm protected and that I'm practicing skills that I have, but I have no practice at them. And it's not just having faith, but it's having faith that, you guys, when I hear spirit, it's not like what you see in the movies. Things don't go, la, 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 la. It sounds like me. It sounds like my memories. It sounds like my thoughts. it's the only difference in how I've come to understand that it's not me and that it is spirit is because in many ways, it's much more faithful than I've ever been as a human being. It's much more loving than I've ever been as a human being. And frankly, the more I trusted it, the more I got validated that those intuitions, those thoughts were spirit talking to me. Because in this whole situation, what I have to do is I have to choose to be courageous. And the courage comes from having faith that I will receive all that I want as I stand. When I say receive all that I want, I almost feel like for Libra, it's not that I won't receive it. It's like, well, I'm in a partnership or I'm in cooperation with others. So I have to make sure they receive everything too. And everything's fair and everything's even. Maybe it's not about being even right now. Maybe it's about Libra understanding that your vibration is what makes things even and fair. So as you stand in a vibration of trusting that you will receive, then wow, you start to make things fair for other people because you present choices for them. Choices to be courageous in their own life. So that's where I want to put it. I think that's pretty cool. Okay. This is what I want to say too. For all the signs, but for Libra as well, when we feel frustrated or angry, we get up our grill because we think we're always supposed to be friendly to others, to be cooperative, to be the agent of peace. And sometimes we don't feel peaceful, and that is okay. It's okay. It's about what we do when we don't feel peaceful. So that's where you get to sort of say and open up a little bit inside your heart and have courage to say, not get up your own grill. I guess that's where I'm going. Got a little distracted by something. I don't know what it was. Anyway, all right. On to our Virgos now. Okay, somebody asked me a question and I didn't get to answer it. I apologize. I'm going to scroll back real quick before I start Virgo and see if I can figure it out. Oh, Brandon, good luck making a natal chart for me. It's a very interesting natal chart, by the way. I can't find it. Somebody asked me something. I don't know. If you guys want to ask me anything, let's do it now before I go on to Virgo, just so that when Juan does the timestamp, we don't annoy the playback watchers. So I'm going to give it a minute while I shuffle for Virgo. Thank you, Enchanted Wolf. You have Venus and Mercury in Libra. That's a cool combination. Oh my gosh, that would make you, Michelle. I love that combination. Stellium and Virgo. Oh wow, you're charming and practical and dependable. That's interesting, Nikki. But we're not talking about those things. We're going to try to stay in the neutral zone instead of the Romulan zone, which is what all this is about. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I didn't quite check. I forget. I saw the degree of the moon, but then it went right out of my brain. Oh, yes, Cosmo Kid. Thank you for bringing that up. You're exactly who I wanted to address. Do I think the celery juice helped? I have to tell you, I think it was a miracle. 2 weeks ago, this last week I've been feeling better, but for 2 weeks I felt so crappy. And the second week I felt like someone punched me in the mouth. It was like, and it was just aching and aching. And I was honestly making bargains with God. If you take the pain away, I swear I'll do all the detoxes. I'll get all this stuff out of my system. And I literally woke up at like 2:00 in the morning and I made 32 ounces of celery juice, went back to bed, got up at 8:00, made another 32 ounces and for 2 days. And by the third day, all the pain was gone. All the swelling was gone. I don't know what happened in there. Don't know. Don't want to know. I kind of think sometimes too much information. And I've been sticking to it, 32 to 64 ounces of celery juice once a day, meaning 32 twice a day. And I've been mindful. Am I completely perfect in what I'm eating? No, but I'm trying to fuel my body. And it is making a huge, huge, huge difference. I didn't really believe it at first, but I really do. Okay. You know what, Brandon? Not Lada said, and I don't know if you're an Aries, but I'm Aries rising. She said that because Aries rules the first house, that there could be things going on with the body itself that would either, be Plutonian and transform, or could be a little challenging on the other side. So let's pay attention. But I also think that those of us that are light workers that are here, we are here to we're here to triumph, to help. So I don't think we're going to fall under that easily. Okay. Shelley asked about the angel cards. What did Shelley ask about the angel cards? And then I'll go on to Virgo. It was my skin and throat too, Brandon. My throat really bothered me. Celery juice, I'm telling you. And don't get in the car and drive a long distance after you drink the celery juice, because you'll have to make a rather abrupt pit stop. I personally, I'm not a doctor, but I've never had an issue with it at all. I've never had a reaction. It just kind of tastes nasty, I think, but really great. Okay. Well, I'm just waiting for that one question to come through about the cards. I missed that. Yeah, it's just amazing. Michelle, I'm glad that you can say I think both you and Thibaut are having good experiences as well. Okay. Jasu, that's my dad's birthday, but not 1988, September 9th. All right, I'm going on to Virgo now. I guess that question will have to wait for in between the next two. Okay. Oh, that was it. Okay. Siren Rose, thank you. Shelley said, Teri, I would like to know more about selecting angel during the week. What should we listen all the way and select first? Are you talking about from my personal readings, Shelley, or are you talking about pulling a card on your own? Because for me, I want to put it this way. If you're looking for my readings, I would do my rising, my moon, my stelliums, if I have them, and then my sun. Because the stellium, again, has a very strong influence on your chart. So, and I want to say this too, because sometimes, even though there's a formula to it, and I go to the moon because the moon represents our emotions, I also think that letting your intuition start to guide you as to what's most powerful for you this week. Or any week for that matter, because I really want you guys, I want to help you to know that the connection I have with spirit is like a singing voice. Some of us are super great at it naturally, and some of us have to work a little harder, and some of us are just completely off pitch, but we all have one. So I just want to help us all build that, strengthen it, and learn to rely on it. Okay, on to Virgo now. Thank you, Juan, for editing all this on the timestamps for us and for the other viewers. Here we go. Yeah, I miss peanut butter too. Hello from Africa, Nira. Okay, Virgo. Our first angel is Caressa. The second is Chantal. The third is Oceana. And the final is Crystal. Yay, Teri Woods. Shuffling for Virgo, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Ooh. Okay, joining Caressa in the foundational position is the Joy card. Joining Chantal in the opportunity or the obstacle is the Disruption card. Joining Oceana in the Angel's Advice is the Burden card. And joining Crystal in the final position is the Deer. When I first looked at this spread, Chantal came out in the opportunity, the obstacle. Chantal represents intimate love. And yet at the same time, I don't know if I'm really reading it this way. Caressa says you're at the end of a life cycle right now. Call upon God and the angels to comfort and guide you as this chapter closes and a new chapter filled with much more happiness opens. And there is the joy card. And I really want to say that as we go into this full moon in Aries, Aries representing independence, the spark of creativity, your own, assertion of self out into the world. And I feel like this is something that this is resonating with me for Virgo. There's something about you and something that you love being birthed out into the world. It's a time of allowing dependability or stoic actions that you do because it's greater for the good than it is for the individual. Now I feel like it's a time to open up to greater elements of joy where you do I like this endeavor? Do I like this activity? Because the greatest thing, this is what I love about the earth signs. They will work hard naturally. And so in doing so, let's work hard at what we love. That way it doesn't feel like such hard work, because an opportunity obstacle is Chantal, the angel of romance, but there's the disruption card. And I don't want to just put this into romance. I want it to put it into what I love. And maybe we need to disrupt how you view what it is that you love. Because sometimes, and now that I'm almost 61 years old, there were so many years I thought, well, someday I'll do this and someday I'll do that. And then all of a sudden I started to realize, whoa, someday is today. I better do what I love today. I better start focusing on what I love today, because if I don't, today's going to come and go and I'm going to miss it. Because in the angel's advice, Virgo might be having a bit of a burden trying to really traverse up through the sea, the ocean of their dreams to see the light. That's where the disruption card comes. If I do something I love, will I suffer in other areas? And in the final position, we have Crystal saying, have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon. And then I'm not going to go to fear with the deer this time. I'm going to go with being gentle and diplomatic with yourself as you traverse this highway. My thing is that we as humans, we come into this experience with an emotional template, is the word I'll use, because we have had lifetimes after lifetimes of experiences, and we come in with an intention. So in setting that intention, we've set a template. Now we can veer off of that template, because once we get under the veil of unknowing, being in the physical experience, we tend to get immersed in the structure of it. And so with Virgo, especially a Virgo stellium, you will inadvertently start to go down a path of being, and I'm going to say this lovingly, but doing what you're expected, being practical, being dependable, and then looking for the carrot to be the other party. You're the boss that pats you on the back. And in some ways, I think this isn't about the boss patting you on the back anymore. It's about you patting you on the back and you saying, you know what? I love that I'm doing this now. And it's about being gentle and diplomatic with yourself as you kind of learn how to identify that, how you learn how to identify where you've inadvertently thought you got joy from something, but it was really the joy of somebody being pleased with what you were doing. And then you have to go back to saying, but what was I doing? Did it please me? I hope that made sense, because I think what Spirit is saying is it's time to go towards things that bring you joy and to be a little bit more childlike in your innocence, that, you know what, if I love it, if I have this inclination that I want to do it or be it, my soul must have made some space somewhere in this natal chart for me to experience it. And it's just so hard to see. This conjunction, and I've really been thinking about the Saturn, Pluto, and then all the planets that joined the whole party. What was it last year? They were saying the stats were it only happens once every 184 years. That means we're teed up for revolution. It means we're teed up to be breaking the box. We're teed up to be, and I want to say pissed off, because people don't move unless they get pissed off and uncomfortable. So, and I'm not trying to throw the world dynamic in on Virgo, but within your own little worlds, it's time to end dutiful, unless you enjoy it. Again, if you enjoy it, if you enjoy running and doing marathons and Ironman and all that hard work, great, do it. But if you do it because your partner does it, and that's how you met is, and you don't want to do it anymore. Maybe it's time to think about other things. Maybe it's time to get a little disruptive and start to claim what it is you love so that you don't have to feel burdened anymore as you have to swim up through the seas into what it is you want. I really, truly, truly believe that there is so much, I want to use the word reward, but I don't know if I think it's a reward as much as I think it's our God-given right on this planet to experience this place as nirvana, to come here to play with sex and food and building and amassing and creating, but not from this structured place. And this is why Mars and Saturn square feels so challenging, because we're literally breaking an old habit that we hate, but that also makes us feel safe. How many of you have jobs that you don't like that much, but it makes you feel safe because you get that paycheck every 2 weeks and you have that insurance that you might need someday? Okay, here we go. On to our Leos, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. And before I start, I'm just going to reiterate something about Leo, because this is resonating with me so much. The sun rules the zodiac. Is that not correct? Yes, it is. The sun rules Leo. Is that correct? Yes, it is. What does Leo represent? Romance, fun, personal pleasure, creativity, children. And even in children, what do children represent? The innocence, faith. I can do anything. I can be anything. So I want to say this because of Leo. It's our opportunity right now as humans to start to be more Leo-like. Every single one of us. To start to think our fifth house rules us. What do I love? What do I want to birth? And start to make that the primary objective. Because when the sun and Saturn get next to each other, a lot of people will say, well, Saturn can, really restrict the sun. But look what it did for Kobe Bryant. It made him a superstar because he had the hard work with what he loves. And he did the work, and he was loyal and tenacious to his own dreams. That's where I'm going, Leo. And everybody else, pay attention as my finger flies through the screen. I guess I'm feeling myself again. Okay, here we go. Leo, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Your stellium, you should be, doing whatever you want to do and loving it. Okay. Our first angel for Leo is Caressa. The second is Archangel Gabriel. The third is Crystal. And the final is Francesca. Brandon, I haven't worked much with the idea of the descendant. I don't know why. I haven't learned much about it, I guess. But I bet it, it is on that axis, those pivotal axes. So it must be super influential in some ways. I just don't know much about it. Okay. For Leo, joining Caressa in the foundational position is the butterfly. Joining Archangel Gabriel is the death card. Joining Crystal is the forgiveness card. And joining Francesca is the serpent. All right, so there's definitely, for my Leos, there is transformation, but it's also the ending of a chapter. And I want to put it this way, because this butterfly is really, to me, when I look at it, I can't help but see the caterpillar on the twig. The caterpillar walks on that little twig, and it thinks this twig is its whole world. Look at this little twig. Look at this little tree. And the next thing you know, it's being transformed into this cocoon that is going to change it into something that will only land on a twig again and instead float on the airwaves. And you're at the end of a chapter. So I want to put it this way. For my Leos, you are absolutely transforming, and it is a beautiful thing. And I want to put it this way, because I know a lot of Leos, and a lot of them have kind of like a interesting dynamic in their chart. They may have a Leo sun and have 2 water signs as the rising and the moon. So the Leo isn't quite like it would be. And I feel like this is really not about the roaring of the lion, but the lion being the leader that transforms us into our artistic expression. because Archangel Gabriel rules death in some ways, because she helps take the soul from the earthly experience and guides it to the other side. But she's also represents in this deck feeling insecure about arts and communications, and that you have a life's purpose. So I think, yes, this applies to Leo moon. Absolutely, Michelle, 1,000,000%, because the Leo moon is going to represent your emotions. So I feel like this is truly an opportunity to transform and not think of yourself as having to, sometimes people think that Leo is selfish, and I don't think Leo is. I think it's just that Leo enjoys being themselves so much that those of us that have, other planets ruling us and say, no, I've got to do what other people like of me, we get annoyed with them. But it's not Leo's job to deal with us being annoyed with them because we're trapped in our own BS. Because for Leo, in the angel's advice, is the forgiveness card and crystal saying, have faith and hope there's more on the horizon that you can't see. And that's in direct relationship to what you want to birth out into the universe for yourself. I really think that this is about the art of being a Leo, the art of embracing the sun, the art of knowing that during the sunny seasons, we all love to get out and we feel romantic, we feel playful, we feel fun, because in the final position, Francesca is offering the shedding of a skin, offering a healing, because as you visualize what you want, I really believe that there are others that will, rather than criticize or condemn or be even envious of, I feel like now this is a time where you have an opportunity to be the leader, and that people around you have to say, why not me too? Why not me too? And that's the only thing that you can do for them. Why not you too? I'm doing what I love. You do what you love. Awesome. Because I really think it's time for us to take a fifth house revolution and to start to play with that. And I want to offer it this way, because we're going to see Jupiter go into Aquarius. We're going to see Saturn go back into Aquarius, and that's revolution. It talks about networks. The 11th house is networks, but it's also hopes and wishes, guys. So we're very much going to see, here's Saturn now. If I work hard towards what my hopes and my wishes are, it changes my belief. That's Jupiter. And then we start to live it. And now I need my Leos to stand up and show us who are a little bit more timid how to really break the box. So there you go. Love my Leos. I love all of you. And I really mean that. Okay, here we go. On to our Cancers. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. I don't think selfish is selfish. I think oftentimes selfish is, it's interesting to me, because if I really pay attention to the people that I've thought were selfish, they had a lot to teach me about my Libra passive aggressive resentment that I can have because I feel obligated to doing what other people want instead of what I want. And that was the difference. I have a Leo sister, and I'm telling you, that girl can manifest anything. She's not terribly spiritual, to be honest with you, but she just puts her mind to something, and then she starts to think about it. And when she thinks about it, it's always about, like, she can get it. She's so good at that. In fact, she was the first person who really taught me about thought, because I would watch her, and she wouldn't always do it, from a place that I approved of, because I would call her Leo selfish, but she was smart. She was smart. Now I have to give myself the same privileges and not worry about whether she's selfish. Okay. On to Cancer. Thanks again, Juan, fixing those timestamps for me. So I'm not a pain in the ass to the playback. Welcome, Shenli. Okay, here we go. For our Cancers, our first angel is Layla. The second is Ariel. The third is Fiona. And the final is Archangel Uriel. Wow. Ooh, oh yeah. see Archangel Uriel, and the first thing I think of is October starts off with a bang. Full moon in Aries. Frustration. Layla's being joined by the Lady of the Lake. Ariel's being joined by the Focus card. Fiona's being joined by the Spider. And Archangel Uriel's being joined by the Wasp. All right, Cancer. Oy, oy, oy. This is not the most fun spread I've ever had to read for you, I will say. But I want to offer it this way because this connection to spirit this week is going to be super important to you, because this feels a little bit like, I have to say, it feels outside of you. I feel like Layla is about spending time in nature, about connecting with God and the angels. And I feel like this is really so important for you. You are ruled by water. You're ruled by the ocean. Anything you can do to get your feet in dirt, grass, sand, anything earth-like, because this week I feel like there could be potentially an emotional storm. And I don't know that you're the impetus of that storm. It feels like it could potentially be around you because something is cutting through to the truth of the matter. And here we have Ariel asking you to pay attention to your spiritual experiences. And then here's the Focus card, because this feels very much out of your hands. And what it may be is something to the effect of where you could be in a dynamic where you aren't personally in disagreement with anyone, but people you love are in disagreement with each other. And you're powerless over the situation. You're powerless over influence because you're trying to be neutral, or you're trying to be fair to everyone. Because in the angel's advice, I have Fiona saying, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving it. And this is a relationship card for me. It really is. It's a relationship card, because when I see the spider and I see the web, whatever gets in that web does not come out. So, and this spread ends with frustration and anger, straight up. Archangel Uriel helping you deal with unforgiveness, and the Wasp giving a stingy energy. So this is what I think. I think there's the potential that there could be arguments this week, that this full moon in Aries sparks, and I want to go with the square to Saturn having the conversation, something old gets brought up again. And it's something to do with, it feels like a circle. It's almost like we've been in this argument before. We thought we settled it. No, we didn't. And it comes up again. And I don't know if it's a he said, she said kind of argument. It may be a patterned type thing where people have a certain tension in their relationship it's always sort of sitting underneath things. This doesn't feel like it's about people that get along well. It feels like there's certain relationships in Cancer's life that are tenuous, but they're stuck. That's like a DNA relationship, and you're like, I have to be with my brother, or I have to be with my sister, and oh God, and maybe it's the holiday season's coming up. But I'll do one card quickly for Marta just to see if this affects your health, because it does concern me, because stress affects our health, but anger brings a fire inside of us that can really kind of, so let's pull one card to see if this affects your health. And I got the Truth card. So I would say be mindful, because anger is very powerful and very, it's like an inferno inside. And it was actually, you guys have been talking about having some little health things. They were in my throat chakra. And it was as a result of anger that I think it came up. And it showed in the form of what I would call like a burn on the inside of my throat. I don't know what it is, to be very honest with you, but I'm working on it, and it's repairing itself. So I want to say to Cancer, don't let that water turn into steam and have it blow out of your ears. Spend some time in nature. Spend some time communing with God and the angels. Even holding a crystal in your hand may be helpful to help anchor you, because I tend to think that there's a high potential that your feelings get hurt this week, that you're hurt not only for yourself, but because other people are warring around you and it's pulling you into something. So, all right. We're clearing the air in 2020, guys. There's no way around it. So it's best to be as surrendering to this, as flexible as possible to let what doesn't work reveal itself. I had an old person, a couple of old people come reeling back into my life. Actually, 3 of them within 1 week. And one I absolutely would not open the door for because that person I just could not. They flip on a dime. I can't go there. Second person, I thought, oh, there's hope. There's hope. Maybe the pattern will change. And it quickly revealed itself that it was not going to change, and that the other person has no perception of how the pattern bothers me. And there's no way I can make that known without them feeling offended in some way. So there's another part of me that has to reconcile that and put it back where it belongs without creating a war. And the third isn't even relevant, so we won't talk about that one. But so I really want to offer that. That's for Cancer. That's for all of us, but for Cancer especially. Because there's something so much feels about people that you love that are creating conflict, which is kind of tearing you up. All right, here we go. Let's go on to our Geminis. I'm going to be done by 12:30 at least. So excited. Thank you, Ken-chan. I'm really getting up, keeping my hair up. There's been quite of a... My hair is just not looking good blow dried lately, so I've just been embracing the goddess. Okay, Gemini, follow your heart. Rochelle wants you to follow your heart. Your obstacle is you don't have enough information in the form of Merlina. Vanessa is encouraging you to be faithful. And Francesca's asking you, what are you visualizing on? Welcome, Sammy's mom, Sammy. Happy Sunday. All right. I'm excited for this one. This feels good to me. Whenever Rochelle comes out, it's not about logic, guys. It's about really trusting that contract you made with spirit and those yearnings of your heart. Okay. Rochelle is being joined by the frog. Merlina is being joined by the bird. Vanessa is being joined by the wasp. And Francesca is being joined with the serpent. Okay. So Rochelle says, as you honor and follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you. And the frog represents good luck in Asian cultures. If you go to a Chinese restaurant, or you'll always see a frog or a frog with a coin in its mouth to bring good luck. I could say that this was about emotional cleanup, but for some reason, it doesn't feel like that, to be honest with me. It feels like Gemini, you have a real opportunity to start to manifest in the material world what it is you want. Now, this is where it gets tricky, because in your opportunity and or your obstacle is Merlina saying you don't have enough information, and there's the history card, and meaning that's my story. So I want to offer it this way, because the obstacle is that you don't have enough information, and being a sign of Mercury, you're going to want to think it through, figure it out, strategize, learn, teach, talk, write, all those everyday activities. It's not in your everyday world yet. I know, the wasp again, but the wasp this time is in the angel's advice, because it's about not getting pissed off as you implement faith. It's not materialized yet, but it's coming, and it's coming quick. I'm thinking of one particular client who is a Gemini, and she has a strong knowing on the inside, but a lot of the outside experiences are conflicting with that. And there's a part of me that keeps, Stephen, we're going to remove that comment because I don't want to get into anything going that direction in the chat, please. We're going to keep this in a neutral zone. Feel the love. I'm saying this for Gemini because I believe that there's something on foot for you that is going to shift your experience and for the better, for the much better. And your life will not look the same when this transition is done. And it's not just this full moon. It's going on throughout the rest of the year, but continue to follow your heart, because this is where your luck will come. This is where you will truly feel your emotional house cleaned, because you will feel a sense of strength. And then you will start to rewrite your history, because you won't need the information, and you won't get frustrated anymore, because you will have practiced faith. Because Francesca says, what do you visualize right now? Focus on that and it will come about. And there is the serpent. The knowledge comes. So you go from being confused and indecisive and unknowing to knowing. And this is where I think you get on this highway. It's kind of where I see Archangel Gabriel saying, you know, I'm here to help you overcome your insecurities and how you communicate with yourself and how you feel in other ways. So meaning in other genres. So I really want to offer you this opportunity when you're walking through this next week and you're going into this full moon, and this full moon being in Aries, Aries representing the self. What do I really want for me? How do I feel good about me? And if indeed it's not sitting in my material world, it doesn't mean it's not happening. It just means it hasn't happened yet. Full moon in Aries. Did I not say that, Brianna? Brianna, did I say something different? I hope I didn't. Okay, I think I said it right. All right, let's go into our Tauruses and then our Aries, and we're done. Oh, good. I did say it correctly. All right. Here we go. Taurus, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. I've got Uranus like hovering on my moon right now. I'm pretty sure it's still at 9 degrees. This is the second time Uranus has hovered on my moon. And then there'll be the third time. So it'll be interesting to see. Because you can never figure out what Uranus is going to bring into your world. There's lots of things squaring you up in Capricorn. Okay. Taurus, our first angel is Vanessa. The second is Mystique. The third is Isabella. And the final is Azure. Oh, I like this. I think some magic's brewing, Brandon. I got you. And I like to think of magic as alignment with source energy. That's why I believe Jesus was saying, you know, that things can happen just like that because he was so aligned to source energy. No doubt, no resistance in that guy's energy. Vanessa is being joined by the serpent. Mystique is being joined by the king. Isabella is being joined by the novice. And Azure's been joined by the cow. This is really terrific. Pardon me while I take a quick sip of my orange juice. Okay. Taurus. Vanessa says, are you going to have faith or fear? And I want to kind of put it this way, because to me, the only thing that really triggers Taurus is money. I mean, there's a lot of other things, don't get me wrong, but when Taurus has enough resources, they're pretty okay. They're like, you know, I can handle it. I just want to know that I have a roof over my head. I have comfortable things to put on my body and good food in my belly. But I think that this is bigger, because I think that what's happening is Uranus is liberating you in some ways from whatever has held you back before. And now I believe you are able to stand in more faith than you ever had before. And I feel like you have almost like when I say knowledge, it says knowledge and healing. To me, it feels like knowledge. Faith is now knowledge. Faith is becoming tangible for you, because what I think is the king represents not a man, but karma, the justice. And here the justice is, I know to keep charging ahead towards my dreams. I used to be kind of scared as a Taurus if they would happen. But you know what? The angels have told me the timing is right for this. And I'm still new at practicing it, but I am triumphant because I have the tenacity to keep on going. And then here's Azure saying your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Have faith and patience, and don't try to force it. And then there's the card of abundance. There's the card of nourishment, of asking and receiving. This is what I think is happening for Taurus. I think that Uranus is liberating you in many ways to how you view your material resources, the second house. And in doing so, it's not like, you know, in the olden days or yesterday, for it could be, but that, oh, if I have, you know, enough money in the bank, I'm safe. Now I think that Taurus knows that not only if I have enough money in the bank am I safe, but if I spend a little of that money, I'll still be safe because it will come back. I feel like that this is really, because Vanessa and the serpent are where you're starting this whole thing, where you're starting the platform. The platform is I'm starting to anchor in that faith. And the faith is not just in spirit, but in your own particular contract. So whatever obstacles have come ahead of you, and the obstacle is to keep charging ahead. But there's justice here. And I feel like you know it a little bit more. I feel like you're here, sitting here going, you know what? What if things are actually starting to work out for me? What if things are getting better? And then I want to say this, the full moon feels like it's going to bring about an emotional shift inside of Taurus that says, things are looking up. Things are getting better. And if the world gets a little cuckoo around me, it doesn't mean my world can't get better. Lots of people, and I don't know, exactly who they are right now, but there are people making plexiglass dividers. There are people making facial masks, be dingled or bedazzled, however you say it. And all those people have an opportunity to make money through something that was very challenging. So as Taurus has faith that there's a bigger picture and that on some level, we've all agreed to walk through this disruption in order to bring a new sense of peace and a new platform to walk on, where our personal pleasures and our security feels much more tangible than it has in the past. So I feel really good about this. And I feel like this is something that, and I want to say this for Taurus because it feels mostly emotional, but then I feel like there's the material that will back it up. So I'm going to say that this week, even though, and I want to say this about Taurus, be careful while you're driving. Don't let yourself get irritated and don't flip anybody off on the highway because they might turn around and chase your ass down. This is how this week is going to go. So in general, everywhere, people just going to act the fool. So be mindful. But overall, I think that Taurus is going to start to implement this faith that has been brewing in you since 2018, since Uranus started into your sign. And as you continue to kind of bank on that, literally bank on it, bet on it, Spirit's going to start to give you experiences. You're going to start to receive things in ways. And your job is to allow them to come in so you can anchor that faith, because you're still wobbly a bit in your novice energy. Okay, on to our final sign, Aries. Oh, thank you, Sammy's Mom Sammy. Have a wonderful week. All right. Are you ready, Aries? Here we go. Rising moon, sun, and stellium. So this is what I want to say for my fellow Aries. And I say fellow Aries because as an Aries rising, I feel so much. My Aries rising feels very strong. My Taurus moon feels very strong. And my Libra comes in a distant third. While I try to be diplomatic, she doesn't always win. Sometimes that Aries is like, what the hell? And I said that nicely. So here we have this little tense energy between Mars and Saturn. Little tense. Ha ha. Thank you, Rasmus Mortensen. Thank you so much. I so appreciate your gifts. I really do. Okay. So here's where I'm going. Aries rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. So okay, I just argued with myself. All right. There's arguments are afoot. Everybody, this energy for everybody is tense, tense, tense. It's going to get more and more argumentative as we move through this year. We can absolutely expect cuckoo crazy. Weather's going to get crazy. Governments are going to do weird things. People are going to be throwing mud back and forth. Our job during this time is to do our best to avoid those that poke at us. I mean, maybe it's my Libra taking over there, but I would rather not try to contain my Aries part and just avoid the situation altogether. But I want to offer it this way, because Flamingo's right. It is scary out there. It's scary in here. It's scary in here. It's scary in here. And yet at the same time, I feel like there's so much opportunity that's just being, it's like we're pushing through in the birth canal of our own dreams. And there must be some sort of, in order to, it's been such a small canal, we got to push like this in order to get it out. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, Aries, the next few months for you in particular are going to be very illuminating in how you handle your anger, how you handle your frustration, how you handle the warrior inside of you, because the peaceful warrior, you know, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember the old show Kung Fu, right? But David Carradine played this guy, and he was like, you know, a karate, I don't know if it's, I guess Kung Fu is a certain type of practice, a martial art practice. And he would, you know, go into these towns as the new guy, and the big bullies would come and try to kick his ass, and he would look like this little weenie, and then he would knock them all over because he was the peaceful warrior. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, for Aries, really looking at, does the person deserve your sword? Is this worth my time? Is this worth my battle? And looking at it that way, because you can go into the battle and you can win the battle. Do you want to? Is it worth it? Maybe not. That's what I ask myself. Okay, final sign. Here we go. Kung Fu fighting. Yeah. Everybody was Kung Fu fighting. Okay, no more singing. All right, Mystique, keep charging ahead. Layla, spend time in nature. Ariel, psychic experiences in Azure. I love it. I love it. I love it. Azure says things are happening. Don't force it. Force is a resistance. It's a lack of trust. All right. Mystique is being joined by the dog. Layla's being joined by the birth and the rebirth card. Ariel's being joined by the wind fairy. And Azure's being joined by Merlin. As I throw these cards down, I kind of want to say, you know, Aries, we're kind of like Leo in some respects. We get this kind of bad rap for being aggressive, assertive, curt, blunt, kind of unfeeling in our expression. And I don't think that's really true at all. But what I do think when I look at this week is that this is really about kind of, I feel like it's about birthing I want to go into that peaceful warrior idea. I want to go into the idea that this is an opportunity for you to show you how you can show up and still be authentic to yourself. Because Mystique is asking you to keep charging ahead, to expect miracles, and to, wait, how does they put it? Don't take no for an answer. Expect miraculous solutions to appear. And there's the dog. And this is kind of the thing where I feel like this is about embracing the Aries in you. When I years ago, before I found Lada on Lada's channel on YouTube, I had a woman do my chart. And it was the first time when somebody referred to my Aries as a civil rights leader. She said, "You're like Norma Ray." And I was like, oh, you're right. I am like Norma Ray. I'm a warrior, but I'm not like a warrior that wants to hurt people and stab them and go into battle like this. I'm more like, I would be someone who would, in a past life, would have been in the Million Man March or something like that. This is how I want to refer to Aries, is start to think of yourself as that peaceful warrior, because it's time to connect with spirit and give yourself a rebirth. And the rebirth for me feels like paying more attention and really inventorying all the spiritual experiences that prove to me that I'm a spiritual warrior. I'm not just an angry person walking around trying to lob people's heads off. Because in the final position, we have Azure. This is the most beautiful energy with Azure, because she's like saying, you've won the battle. So quit trying to force it. And here's Merlin. This is alchemy through pressure. It's justice and it's balance. I really feel like, look, first of all, you ask anybody who they want to stand beside them in battle, and Aries is the person you want to have behind you in battle. Somebody who is fiercely loyal, fiercely independent, and so they're willing to stand away from the herd. And I have found myself to be willing to go to battle for other people that wouldn't go to battle for themselves. And now I feel like it's kind of about, really, this full moon feels like it's about allowing Aries the privilege of turning all of that negative Aries energy into positive energy, turning it back into the truth seeker, seeing yourself as much more of a Jedi Knight than somebody who gets a bad rap. That's kind of how I want to put it. Oh, Brandon, you're so funny. Okay, so that's what I want to say. I want to offer this too for Aries before I wrap this up. There is a very strong probability that this peaceful warrior in you will be decided upon as a result of a non-peaceful warrior in you, meaning there's the potential that you could get triggered, that somehow, you're walking in your highest vibration and then out of nowhere, somebody does something that seems so absurd that impulsively you just move towards it. I don't think it's about judging that impulse. I think it's more about saying, I know how to now use that impulse as Excalibur versus just any other sword. I just feel like this is really more about reconciling that warrior inside of you and not villainizing it. Just the way Leos should not villainize the king inside of their energy, the leader inside of them, because Aries has that very strong energy as well. And I feel like this could play out like this. I know I'm talking a little bit too much now, but I'm gonna be very quick. Your Mars energy could run up against an authority like your boss. And your boss never compliments you because you stay after work, 5 days a week. But the one day you're late, you get grief. And you're like, what the hell? I'm here all the time. I can't be late one day. Watch yourself, because it isn't about them. It's about you and how you feel at the end of the day about you. And you'll be triumphant. Somehow you'll conquer the beast. And the beast will then become the strength card in the tarot. And you'll be that beautiful maiden who can tame the lion. All right, here we go. That's it for today. I want to thank you all for showing up, for being here, and for your wonderful generosity, not only with your time, but with your money, especially during times like now. I love all of you guys. I want to send you happy, yummy energy. And I'll be back next week at 11 a.m. And if you want to get a personal reading from me, all the information will be in the description below. So thanks, everybody. Take care and have a wonderful week. Peace out.